Hello and good morning. Welcome to another episode of Me and Epiphany, but we're taking this episode to read through the Bible. So for those of you who have not done so, maybe you've kind of jumped around as I have. I actually want to take it from Genesis to Revelation all the way through. And with this particular live show, I want to be able to ask questions and get those answered. So please, if you do have questions, drop those in the chat. Hello, Miss Sarah. How are you doing this morning? It's good to see you. Drop those in the chat. And if we can't answer them on this particular live, we'll definitely do that in a follow-up video. But the idea is just to be able to, again, go through the Bible and get our questions answered for those of us who have the desire to do so. So I won't take up too much of your time on this beautiful Saturday morning. We'll probably be here for an hour or so just to get through our reading, and then we'll go from there. So if you would like to follow along, we are in the Bible. We're starting at Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 1. And this particular passage in chapter 4 is about Cain and Abel. So I'll give you a couple more seconds just to get that Bible. And if you need any notebook, paper, notes, I would grab that as well. All right, here we go. Genesis chapter 4. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. And unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said to Cain, Why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lies at the door, and unto thee shall his desire be, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cries unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which has opened up his mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. And when thou tillest the ground, he shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a vagabond and a vagabond unto the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that finds me shall slay me. Now, I do want to take a pause right there just to kind of go over a little bit about what's going on. So there are different types of offerings that the Lord was requiring from his people back in this day. Once again, the laws were set up so that he was separating his people from what you would call the heathen, those who did not know God. And so he had these particular offerings set up, and each offering was for a particular reason. But what he wanted to do was give all the heave offerings to the Levites, which were his priesthood. Okay, all the line of the Levites were all the priest. And so the offerings that the people of the town came to give to the Lord were actually going to go to the priest. Okay, so it wasn't that his offering there was something terrible with his offering. It was that the Lord was requiring the first fruits of everything that we have. So whether it's wine, whether it's vegetables, but it also is the fat from the animals as well. So what Cain didn't do was bring the fat from the animals. He was only kind of giving God part of the offering, if that makes sense. And so the Lord was like, no, give everything to me, because I can turn everything around for you. But we can't just give him bits and pieces, if that makes sense. And so he goes on to say, he rose up, he slays his brother. And that's another important thing there, because the ground actually, our blood, I guess, when we're slain, it calls out to the Lord. So he already knows what's going on. He wasn't asking Cain, where his brother was, because he didn't really know. He was testing him to see if he would tell the truth. But going further, he says that everyone that finds me shall slays me. So this has to deal with let me go to the passage actually, so that I can read it verbatim. So that's going to be, it's referencing, sorry, I had it here, but pretty much, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. If you shed blood, then men will shed your blood. So that's what that's based off of. Okay, so going further, I believe we're in verse 15. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slays Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begat Mehujael. And Mehujael begat Methuselah, and Methuselah begat Lamech. And Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of one was Adah, and the other was Zillah. And Adah bare Jabal, who was the father of all that live in tents, and such that have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and the organ. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artifice in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Nahama, or Naima. And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Hearken unto my voice, my speech. For I have slain a man to my wounding, and the young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For God said, she has appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to Seth, to him also there was a son born, and he called his name Enos. And then began men to call on the name of the Lord. Chapter 5. Hey, Freddie B, how are you doing? This is about the descendants of Adam. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam. So all of mankind is named Adam in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth was 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. So I know people often wondered, where did Cain get his wife? Adam and Eve had sons and daughters. It wasn't just Cain and Abel and Seth. Okay. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Seth lived 105 years and begat Enos. And Seth lived after he begat Enos 807 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. And Enos lived 90 years and begat Canaan. And Enos lived after he begat Canaan 815 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years and begat Mahalaleel. And Canaan lived after he begat Mahalaleel 840 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahalaleel lived 65 years and begat Jared. And Mahalaleel lived after he begat Jared 830 years and begat sons and daughters. And the days of Mahalaleel were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years, and he begat Enoch. And Jared lived after he begat Enoch 800 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 65 years and begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. And Methuselah lived 187 years and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years and begat a son, and he named his name Noah, saying, "This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord has cursed." And Lamech lived after he begat Noah 595 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay, so I think that's pretty much self-explanatory who begat who. And so I'll go on to this next chapter, and this is about the flood. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took of them wives of all they chose. And the Lord said, "My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh." Remember, spirit is the eternal part, and the flesh is the material or the temporal part. Yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, and the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of the heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, "I will destroy man who I have created from the face of the earth, both man, beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them." But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And the earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, and it was corrupt, for all the flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, "The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood, rooms that shall make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion with that which thou shalt make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it is 50 cubits, and the height of it is 30 cubits. And a window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof, with lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. from under the heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons and thy wife and thy sons' wives and thee. And every living thing of the flesh, 2 of every sort, shalt thou bring into the ark, and to keep them alive with thee, thou shalt be made male and female. Of fowls after every kind, and of cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing of the earth after his kind, 2 of every sort shall come unto thee to keep them alive. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and that shall be good for food and for them. Thus did Noah according to all that the God commanded him, so did he. Okay, so here we have Noah being warned of God that he was going to send a flood on the earth because the earth, the people had in their hearts evil continually. He said there was nothing but violence being wrought about in the earth. And so this is the reason why he had to bring the flood. Now, if you've ever, there's actually, if you know the answers in Genesis, they actually have a ark that they built based on the measurements of the ark written in the Bible. And they created it and made it into a museum. So if you ever have any time, I believe it's in Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. But it shows everything pretty much Genesis related. So it's a really cool that they made something that was the same measurements. Okay. So he grabbed 2 of every sort, male and female. It doesn't say how big they were. It doesn't say any of that. It just says that 2 of every sort. So he could keep everything alive. Chapter 7. And the Lord said unto Noah, come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. So pretty much y'all are the only righteous people that I see around here. So we're going to make sure that we preserve you so that you can make the next, you can pretty much multiply and create the people again. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by 7, the male and his female, and of the beasts that are not clean by 2, the male and his female. Of fowls also of the air by 7s, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of the earth. For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. And Noah did according to all the Lord commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of the waters was upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him into the ark, because of the waters of the flood. Of clean beasts and of beasts that are not clean, and of the fowls and of every thing that creeps upon the earth, there went in 2 and 2 unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days, the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, and the 17th day of the month, the same day, were all of the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. Scientists have actually found the fountains of the deep, by the way. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the selfsame day entered Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wives, and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after his kind, and every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. And they went in unto Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. And the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went up upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all the flesh died and moved upon the earth, both fowl and of cattle and of beast, and of every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth, and every man. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land died. And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle and creeping thing, and the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from under the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. All right. I'm going to read this last chapter, and then I'll let it be done here. I'm just kind of going thought for thought. This is chapter 8. Says, and God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was made with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. And the waters returned from off the earth continually. After the end of the 150 days of the waters were abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. And in the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried upon the face of the earth. Also he sent forth a dove from him, to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. And the dove found no rest for the sole of his foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her into him into the ark. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year, that the 1st month and the 1st day of the month, the waters were dried up off of the earth. And Noah removed covering of the ark, and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And in the 2nd month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, was the earth dried. And God spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons and thy sons' wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth. And Noah went forth, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl, and whatsoever creeps upon the earth, after their kind, went forth out of the ark. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast, and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Okay, so that is Genesis chapter 4 through 8, bringing us from when Adam and Eve first got banished from the garden, and their dealings after that. They began to multiply and have children upon the earth. And as they begin to multiply, we see that the sons of God saw the daughters of man, that they were fair, and they started making wives of them. And that's when, there was already corruption there, obviously, because of what happened in the garden, but we see that they went on to have more destruction, to the point to God was like, nah, we gotta start over, pretty much. So I know people get upset about that, but he said there was nothing but evil in their hearts continually. And so he had to find a family that were actually righteous unto him, and start over again. So that is chapter 4 through 8. So next we will pick up with chapter 9 for those of you who are reading, or start at chapter 9 with the covenant with Noah next week. So does anyone have any questions about what we've read today? Like I said, I won't hold you too long. I just kind of on a self journey to go through this Bible. So, all righty. I don't really think I have too much to expound on upon that, but let me pull up this just so you can see this arc again if you ever want to see it. Museum. Oh, it's in Kentucky. I think I told you. Tennessee. If you've never seen this before. Good reading. Hey, I appreciate you being here. I really do. I really do. It's been on my heart and my mind to go through it. So I'm just gonna listen. Okay, so that big old thing is the ark. That actually seems like it would be a good field trip, though, to be honest. We could get some tickets and go. But okay, guys. Again, won't hold you too much this beautiful Saturday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you again tomorrow for the live show. You said for the first reading session, I have yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you think when God was creating these things was even down to every idea of existing, the fact that we can even think of the idea? I think I understand what your question is, and I want to say yes. And let me go to 1 John, and I'll show you the reason why I say that. Okay, so it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. So when he says all things were made by him and was not anything made that was made, I'm sorry, and without him was not anything made that was made. So I think from the way I understand it is every single, like you said, down to every single idea, it was already here. We're literally just taking and recreating what there could be, or creating what there could be based off of what was already made, if that makes sense. Like the reason why we can make lamps is because there's light. So that's how I take that passage to read. Did that answer your question? Yeah, I think because you can make up a word, right? You can think of what's that movie, The Little Mermaid, and they had like the thingamabobber. It's like, okay, yeah, thingamabobber is a made up word, but he was referring to something, an actual object. He was referring to a fork, which was an actual object that we can actually describe and you know, but you can name it whatever, I guess. You said like in metaphysical conception. Okay. Is this why Jesus stresses the concept of if you think lustful, you already committed said sin because it already manifested from the spiritual sense? And I believe that's exactly how you're putting it. Yes, absolutely. Because once again, our mental, even though we don't have to act on every single thing that comes into our head, every single thing has to come into our head before we can act on it. So yes, that's why he's like, no, if you already thought about it, you pretty much there already. So yeah, very good question. And yes, absolutely. And that's why he always speaks about renewing our mind. It always is the renewing of the mind. You pretty much have to, everything that's been downloaded, not everything obviously, but things that have been downloaded, you have to get rid of that. And then they have to, I don't want to use the word indoctrination, but they have to indoctrinate you with something new. So yes. Mm-hmm. Good question. Any other questions that we can answer today? You said, I got to turn on my notifications. I'm starting to miss viewing your live streams. Man, I thought they were just kind of taking people off of it because, they do that. They'll unsubscribe you or take you off notifications. So yeah, please do. I try to give a heads up, but sometimes, I don't get a chance to do that. So yeah, but I'm going to try my best to do these readings for us to get through the Bible on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock, like we are here now. Probably won't do more than, an hour and a half. I don't want to be too long. My Saturdays are kind of usually booked and busy. I'm pretty sure you guys have a lot to do as well. So yeah, but that'll be the ideal time unless we have to move to a different time. Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Okay, well, if that's it, again, I'll see you guys for live reading through the Bible on Saturdays. Again, we have Take Me Down the Rabbit Hole on Sundays. I got some new videos coming for both Patreon and for YouTube, so stay tuned for all of that. And you already know where you can hit me up if you have any questions or anything. I enjoy speaking with you. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.